Hello, and welcome to this week's show. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Trey Winowitz, and you're watching Right on the Money. Our goal for the show is to always equip you, the viewer, with accurate financial information so that you can make educated decisions for both you and your family. We've got a great show lined up for you today, so thanks for watching. We're going to be tackling some difficult financial questions, and we want to take some things that could be somewhat complicated and make them simple and easy to understand. So come on in and have some fun with us.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, Trey Winowitz was forced to move himself and his family over 600 miles north and begin his financial planning practice again, from scratch. Since then, Winowitz Financial has become a national success story, establishing itself as a trusted source for financial advice in and around East Tennessee. In return, Trey gives back to the community by sponsoring monthly educational workshops and annual charity events. He also hosts a weekly radio show informing and entertaining those in need of financial advice. So, if you'd like to understand more about today's challenging financial environment, if you'd like to overcome your current financial situation, and want to learn from someone with a track record of overcoming, stay tuned for some trusted financial advice that's right on the money.
Now let's get to our main topic, financial scams targeting seniors. You know, it's kind of sad that we have to be on the lookout these days for financial scams, but it's even worse when they're targeted towards senior citizens. In a recent survey conducted by Investor Protection Trust, it estimates that 1 out of every 5 senior citizens, 65 and older, have been victims of financial scams. Since I work with so many seniors, I have a great deal of respect and admiration for this older generation and what they've accomplished in their lives. So today, we've decided to help our viewers out by letting them know a little bit about the dangers out there. I've got an article I'll be using as a reference today. It's from the National Council on Aging, which is a website for a nonprofit service and an advocacy organization whose mission it is to improve the lives of older Americans. We'll also have some tips for fighting back against these scams, and they come from the FBI's website. So if you want a copy of any of this helpful information, give me a call at the office and I'd be glad to send it to you. Now, financial scams are considered often a low-risk crime because they go unreported and can be difficult to prosecute. However, they're devastating to many adults and can leave them in a very vulnerable situation with little time to recoup their losses. And it's not just wealthy seniors who are targeted. Low-income older adults are also at risk for this financial abuse. So let's take a look at the first item on our list. Number 1 is counterfeit prescription drugs. Counterfeit drug scams most commonly operate on the internet, where seniors are going to find a better price or a better deal on specialized medications. This scam is growing in popularity, and the danger is that besides paying money for something that will not help your medical condition, you may end up purchasing an unsafe substance which can inflict even more harm. Here are some tips for avoiding counterfeit prescription drugs. Closely examine the packaging and lot numbers of prescription drugs and be alert to any changes from one prescription to the next. Look at each bottle. Be sure to read all the information. Consult your pharmacist or physician if the prescription drug looks suspicious, and alert them immediately if any medication causes adverse side effects or if your condition doesn't improve. Use caution when purchasing drugs on the internet. Reputable online pharmacies will have a seal of approval called the Verified Internet Pharmacy Practice Site, provided by the Association of Boards of Pharmacy in the United States. Be aware that product promotions or cost reductions in their special deals may be associated with counterfeit product promotion. We have to take a break now, but thanks for being with us today. I hope you can stay tuned for more trusted advice that's right on the money. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Trey Winowitz and you're watching Right on the Money. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about financial scams targeting seniors, and we just covered counterfeit prescription drugs. Now we're going to move on to the next item on our list. Number 2, funeral and cemetery scams. There are 2 types of funeral and cemetery fraud targeted towards seniors. In one approach, scammers try to read obituaries and call or even attend funeral services of a complete stranger in order to take advantage of a grieving widow or widower. Claiming the deceased had an outstanding debt with them, scammers will try to extort money from relatives to settle the fake debts. Another tactic of disreputable funeral homes is to capitalize on many members' unfamiliarity with the considerable cost of funeral services and add unnecessary charges to the bill. In one common scam of this type, funeral directors will insist that the casket, which is usually one of the most expensive parts of the service, is necessary even when performing a direct cremation, which can be accomplished with a cardboard casket rather than something expensive or a big display or burial casket. Here are some tips to avoid funeral and cemetery fraud. Be an informed consumer. Take time to call and shop around before making a purchase. Take a friend with you who may offer some perspective to help make difficult decisions. Funeral homes are required to provide detailed general price lists over the telephone or in writing. Don't allow yourself to be pressured into making purchases, signing contracts, or committing funds. These decisions are yours and yours alone. Number 3 is telemarketing. Perhaps the most common scheme is when scammers use fake telemarketing calls to prey on older people who are more familiar with shopping over the phone and therefore might not fully be aware of the risk. With no face-to-face interaction and no paper trail, these scams are incredibly hard to trace. Also, once a successful deal has been made, the buyer's name is then shared with similar schemers looking for easy targets, sometimes defrauding the same people repeatedly. Some examples of telemarketing fraud include the pigeon drop. The pigeon drop, not the chicken drop. In the pigeon drop, the con artist tells the individual that he or she has found a large sum of money and is willing to split it with that person if they make a good faith payment by withdrawing funds from his or her bank account. Often, the second con artist is involved, posing as a lawyer, banker, or some other trustworthy stranger. The fake accident ploy. The con artist gets the victim to wire or send money on the pretext that the person's child or another relative is in the hospital and needs money fast. Then there are charity scams, where money is solicited for fake charities. This often occurs after natural disasters. If you hear these or similar lines from a phone salesperson, just say, "No thank you," and hang up the telephone. Here are some tips for avoiding telemarketing fraud. It's very difficult to get your money back if you've been cheated over the telephone. So before you buy anything on the telephone, remember, don't buy anything from an unfamiliar company. Legitimate businesses understand that you want more information about their company and are happy to comply. Don't pay in advance for products or services. Pay for products and services only after they're delivered. Never send money or give out personal information such as credit card numbers, expiration dates, bank account numbers, dates of birth, or Social Security numbers to unfamiliar companies or unknown people. Okay, we've got to take another short break now, but thanks for being with us today. I hope you stay tuned for more trusted advice that's right on the money.
Are you planning for retirement? Which path should you take? How can you avoid mistakes? What about a second opinion? Get sound advice for today's market. Make sure your future is secure. With principal protection, reasonable returns, simplicity and safety, call Winowitz Financial today to schedule your complimentary financial review at 865-691-2433. Executive Lending Group is a local independently owned mortgage company committed to providing you with high-quality financial services, as well as the lowest rates available in today's market. Chris Holgroff is a mortgage professional who will work with you one-on-one to ensure your mortgage is tailored to meet your specific financial needs. His 12 years of experience in the industry will help you find the right loan program at the lowest rate.
Call me anytime at 865-257-7777. We look forward to working with you.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Trey Winowitz and you're watching Right on the Money. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about financial scams targeting seniors. We've just uncovered 3 items on our list and now we're going to move to the next one. Number 4, internet fraud. If you're unfamiliar with the less visible aspects of browsing on the web, firewalls and built-in virus protection, for example, this can make you susceptible to traps like email and phishing scams. This happens when you receive an email message that could be or looks like it's from a legitimate company asking you to update or verify your personal information. Also, you could get emails that appear to be from the IRS about a tax refund. You need to make sure that it's really from the IRS before you follow any links or provide any confidential information. For details about these crimes and tips on protecting yourself from them, please visit the FBI's Internet Fraud webpage. Well, that covers everything on our list for today. But I wanted to end this segment by giving you a resource to use if you find yourself in a situation where you suspect something fraudulent might be going on. The National Fraud Information Center is the place you can call to get advice about telemarketing offers and report suspected fraud through this hotline. It's operated Monday through Friday by the National Consumers League. And of course, you can always call our office and we'll do whatever we can to help you out with any of these situations as well. I hope you know that there's many people out there that are trying to take advantage of seniors today. There are so many more of us who truly respect and admire our elders. So educate yourself about the dangers out there, but remember, focus on those good relationships that you already have. Well, that's all the time we have for our Money Talk segments today. Coming up next, we'll learn how people just like you have benefited from a no-cost second opinion. Don't miss our Money Matters segment.
For the last few years, it's been harder to make a consistent return on your money. Are you paying too many fees? Could you get cheaper life insurance rates? Could you pay less taxes? Join the hundreds of others that have dramatically saved money using a free fee analysis. That means you've got to make sure your money is working efficiently for you. Call Winowitz Financial today, 691-2433. That's 691-2433, and start saving money today.
Now that we're back, I'd like to tell you about some real-life folks that you can relate to. Because it never hurts to have an extra pair of objective eyes take a look at your situation and see what can be improved. But sometimes not getting a second opinion can be very costly to your family. Even if the strategies you're using can't be improved on, people say it's a huge comfort when I tell them that what they're doing is working well for them and they should continue with that plan. However, in some cases they discover that products or strategies that they thought worked a certain way actually don't work that way. So what I want to do is take a second to introduce you to a few people who came in my office recently for that no obligation second opinion, just to be sure. And these folks are glad that they did. If you'd like to be a part of this Money Matters segment, please give us a call at the office and schedule a complimentary review. Now let's take a look at this week's case. Jana, can you bring me my notes?
Sure.
Thanks. All right. Our case study this week comes from Greenback, Tennessee. 2 retired farmers. The husband is 70 years old and the wife 68. They had farmed for many years and as well as their family before that. They called in for a meeting just like you after watching our television show. Main concerns, they had just sold their farm and actually were downsizing in homes, very, very common, had worked the farm for years and now looking for a little bit smaller location, easier maintenance, and kind of a one-level home. Also, they had a number of CDs. They had worked with the bank for a long time, and over the years, their CDs had some really good rates, but they were starting to renew at very, very low rates, and they were looking for a little bit better alternatives for interest. Also, the husband had to start taking his required minimum distributions. So if you're nearing the age of 70 and a half, and this was a concern for you, stay tuned for the results of this part of the show. How do they do the RMD was a big concern. What do they do with the money? How much should they have to take? And then once they take it, what happens to the taxes and all that stuff. So those were all their main concerns. The steps to success. We were able to analyze their current situation, spend a little time talking with them about their needs, their goals, what they wanted to do for the rest of their lives. Also, we shopped for some fixed rates. We came up with some really good safe accounts that increased their rate of return, gave them some more tax efficiency, and kept their money in a liquid place where they could get to it in an emergency. Lastly, we also spent a lot of time talking with them about how their RMDs, their required distributions, were going to be calculated, and we're able to educate them a little bit on how that was going to work. The results, we helped them set up a monthly income plan, but we also used some products that would help preserve their asset from the IRA as they were taking their RMDs. So this was a very big help for them, but most of all their heirs, the folks the money is going to go to when they pass. We then gave them some great options for increasing their rate of return on their CDs, gave them some tax efficiency, and also just kept the money liquid where they could get it if they needed it for emergencies. And lastly, we came up with a systematic plan to help them take their RMDs and keep the money safe. We also eliminated some fees. So if this sounds like something that can help you, we'd love to see you. Give us a call today for a complimentary review, and if your scenario gets picked for the show, you're going to receive a Right on the Money prize pack. But most of all, we want to help you. Coming up next, another opportunity for you to be a part of the show. Post it on our Facebook, tweet us, or email us your financial questions, and stick around for the viewer mail section.
For the last few years, it's been harder to make a consistent return on your money. Are you paying too many fees? Could you get cheaper life insurance rates? Could you pay less taxes? Join the hundreds of others that have dramatically saved money using a free fee analysis. That means you've got to make sure your money is working efficiently for you. Call Winowitz Financial today, 691-2433. That's 691-2433, and start saving money today.
Are you planning for retirement? Which path should you take? How can you avoid mistakes? What about a second opinion? Get sound advice for today's market. Make sure your future is secure. With principal protection, reasonable returns, simplicity, and safety, call Winowitz Financial today to schedule your complimentary financial review at 865-691-2433.
Welcome back to Right on the Money. I'm your host, Trey Winowitz, and it's time for you, the viewer, to be an integral part of this show, Viewer Mail. This is the part of the show where you send us your questions about anything financial. In order to get your questions to me, you can post them on our Facebook page, tweet your question to me at TreyWTV, or email them to me at advice@TreyWTV. If your question happens to get answered for the show, you'll receive a Right on the Money prize pack just for your willingness to help out our other viewers. This package has a retail value of over $50, so please don't stop sending us those questions. Our first viewer mail question today is, my CDs are coming due and the rates of the bank are terrible. Is there anywhere I can put some of my emergency money to get a better interest rate? Well, depending on how liquid and accessible you want your money, there are a variety of different options. The other thing you want to consider is, are you wanting to stay completely guaranteed and safe, or would you consider a low-risk alternative? In the same guaranteed category, maybe you should consider a fixed or CD type of annuity, but for a more liquid alternative, our clients tend to use some municipal bond portfolios. However, you really should sit down with me or another qualified professional. Sometimes, depending on the client's entire picture, I may actually recommend keeping the money safe and in a bank as well. When looking at any financial decision, I would always recommend using someone that's a member of the Better Business Bureau and the National Ethics Bureau, and someone who's completely independent. Then you can make sure you're getting an honest second opinion. Thanks for that question. And our next question is, can I start an IRA if I have a 401k? It's possible for many workers to participate in both a 401k and a tax-deductible IRA at the same time, but the rules are very complex and confusing and very easy to get tripped up on, especially for married people. If you want to find out if you can contribute to both a 401k and a tax-deductible IRA, you need to do considerable homework and consult with a qualified tax provider. We have a staff of CPAs who help our clients during tax season. I'd be happy to sit down with you, look at your situation individually, and then we can both discuss with the CPA how these rules apply to you and what you should or shouldn't do. Thanks for that question. The last question we have time for today is this. What should I do if I made a mistake on my federal return that I've already filed? Well, it depends on the type of mistake you made. Any mathematical errors are caught in the processing of your tax return itself, so you may not need to correct these mistakes. If you didn't attach a schedule, the IRS will contact you and ask you for the missing information. But if you didn't report all of your income or claim a credit, you should file an amended return. For those type of questions, we have CPAs that work for us. Give us a call at the office, and most of the time we can look at a couple of past year's returns and call them and answer your questions on any particular case. Thanks a lot for your questions, and keep them coming. Stick around after this short break for Right on the Street. See what some local people just like you think about the stock market and other financial topics. You may actually see someone that you know.
Are you looking to recruit and retain great employees? Would you like to reduce your retirement plan cost? Now you can offer employees the opportunity to keep their retirement funds protected and growing. Separate yourself from your competition. Make a difference in the retirement of your employees with little to no additional cost to you and no change to your TPA, payroll, or existing 401k company. Call Winowitz Financial today to find out more about this exciting new product.
For the last few years, it's been harder to make a consistent return on your money. Are you paying too many fees? Could you get cheaper life insurance rates? Could you pay less taxes? Join the hundreds of others that have dramatically saved money using a free fee analysis. That means you've got to make sure your money is working efficiently for you. Call Winowitz Financial today, 691-2433. That's 691-2433, and start saving money today.
And we're back. This is Right on the Money, and I'm Trey Winowitz. See what some local people just like you think about the stock market and other financial topics. You may actually see someone that you know. When should someone start thinking about retirement?
Maybe when they turn like 75 or 60.
Okay.
Somewhere around in there.
What should someone be thinking about before they retire?
Well, I guess if they could get their home paid off, to get as much, to have as few monthly payments as they have to have.
As far as retirement, I heard that you retired recently.
Yes, I did.
What did you retire from?
From retail.
Okay, how long did you work in retail?
I was 5 years in retail.
Okay, and did you enjoy it?
No.
How much money does somebody need to retire?
For how many days? How old are they? Where do they live? You can live in a simple way. You could live in Knoxville. I wouldn't know. Out where we live, it takes a lot less.
Okay. As far as retirement, what are some of your fears about retirement?
Well, I guess my biggest thing is monetary.
Okay.
You know, I'm on Social Security, and I'm getting a decent amount. But with the way the prices keep going up, and the cost of gas and everything goes up, I'm just concerned that I'll be able to live a fun life. I want to have fun now. I'm out of the job. I'm free. I can do what I want when I want.
Right.
And I want to be able to do that. I don't want to have to sit at home because I don't have any money.
Typical age is 65, but then also with I guess where you are currently financially, do you have enough money saved up for typical expenses for the remainder of 20 years?
How much money does somebody need in order to retire?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is.
That's the tricky question.
All right. Do you have a retirement plan?
We do.
Okay. What's your favorite thing about your retirement plan? Or do you have a feature of it that you like?
No.
Okay. No?
I do not. No,
Okay.
that could be improved.
What's your least favorite thing about it?
The fact it's growth.
Okay. And when should someone, in your opinion, start seeking some advice concerning retirement planning?
Oh, the sooner the better.
I agree.
The earlier you start, the better off you'll be.
Well, this particular area that I was in was luxury items.
Okay.
Women's purses and leather goods. And we didn't suffer a whole hell of a lot.
Really?
I mean,
economy's bad, people still buying nice purses?
Right.
I don't understand the concept of retirement because we're self-employed and we work on a different plane. But you know what? I think retirement's a mistake. I think what you should do is move on to doing something you enjoy and still try to make money from it.
What's the least favorite feature of your retirement plan right now?
That it takes so much time to manage it. It's like a full-time job.
Okay. What words of wisdom would you give for someone that's trying to plan for retirement?
Put some money back, try to plan ahead of time what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and know where you're going where you want to be.
Hey, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And we're back. This is Right on the Money, and I'm Trey Winowitz. We're just getting ready to wrap up the show, but before we go, I'd like to tell you about an old Louisiana tradition called lagniappe. Lagniappe means to give someone a little something extra, and the way that we want to do that here at Right on the Money is to brighten your day at the end of our show. So with that, here's a little lagniappe for you. Now I've got a fun math proof for you today. It's called the value of human capital. Now you know engineers and scientists will never make as much money as business executives, but here's a rigorous mathematical proof that explains exactly why this is true. Postulate number one we'll go with is this: knowledge is power, right? And time is money. And as every engineer knows, work overtime equals power. Well, since we all know that knowledge equals power and time equals money, we have work over money equals knowledge. Now all of our math geniuses out there, solve for money, we get work over knowledge equals money. So what does all this mean? Thus, as knowledge approaches zero, money approaches infinity, regardless of how much work is done. The conclusion is, the less you know, the more money you make. And that, my friends, is a little lagniappe for today. I want to personally thank you for watching our show today. I hope you found our show helpful as well as a little bit entertaining. If there's anything at all I can help you with financially, please don't hesitate to call our office. And remember, any plan that we come up with will always have three main goals for your money. Safety first, or protection of your principal, is always number one. Making a reasonable return on your money in what some would consider an unreasonable market. And number three, keeping your plan simple and easy to understand. If that sounds like something you want, I know I can help you. Also, please keep the financial questions coming. We'll do our best to get them answered on the show. I'll see you next week at 3 o'clock for more trusted advice that's right on the money.